A 34% reduction in the number of fatalities recorded in the mining sector in the year 2022. The Minister of Mineral Resources and Energy, Gwede Mantashe, just letting us in on a breakdown of those numbers in terms of the work that was done or is continuously being done by the department working with mines across the country. Of course, that is a welcome relief in the mining sector. Looking at how this number was at 74% in the year 2021, but the department saying that the work is still underway to ensure that they bring about a 0% fatality in the mining sector. I'm going to bring into the conversation now Minister Gwede Mantashe, who just stepped off the podium right now after presenting this report here. Minister, welcome to the SABC. We see at least that the numbers are going down year on year compared to what we experienced in 2021 going into 2022. Maybe just let us in on that 34% reduction. What does it mean in terms of those numbers?
It's not a straight line. The standing record was 51 fatalities, which was achieved in 2019. Then we slipped back in 2020 to 60 fatalities. We slipped further back in 2021 to 74. Now we've improved it to 49. Which is a new record in terms of fatalities. And it's a step to the right direction because our intention is to have zero harm in the mining industry. People must be able to go to work and we must be sure that they are going to come back alive.
Maybe just let us in also on the work that is being done. We know that a number of those that died, there's still basically a concern around women in the mining sector. They contributed to the large chunk of this 49 that we have lost in the year 2022. What are the work that are being done around making sure that women are afforded the PPE that they deserve and that they are actually taken into consideration in bringing the number down?
Last year there was one fatality of a woman. This year is 3 fatalities of women. That is a terrible slip in that area of work. But as we increase the number of women in the industry, we must appreciate that they are becoming part of the sector. And therefore, they will be affected by developments in the sector like everybody else. We're having 62,000 women in the mining industry today. When we started that campaign in 1987, there was not a single woman in the industry. Today we have 62,000 of them, and that is progress in itself. So as we see setbacks, we must always appreciate the progress that is being made.
The issue of illegal mining, we know very well that it also remains a concern across the country where we've seen, efforts underway to try and address that. Maybe what would be a response? And does that factor in what you released here today, the issue of illegal mining?
Illegal mining is not mining. It's a criminal activity. So you cannot categorize it as mining. When you are in illegal mining, you are actually busy with illicit trade of minerals. Therefore, you are a customer of a different minister. My colleague, Minister Pegikele, is your minister. And he will take care of you seriously. He is doing that relatively well now. There's a big improvement in that area. So illegal mining is not mining. We don't include illegal mining in mining because people go underground, they get suffocated, then 21 people die at a go. You can't say those are mine disasters. We don't categorize it. For example, this year, for the last 4 years, we never had a disaster in mining. And we always describe disaster as any accident that actually kills 5 or more people in one accident. That is a disaster. For the last 4 years, we have not had a disaster.
Just finally on my end, it's around the issue of energy and the electricity crisis. We know that the mining sector is not spared in terms of this rolling blackouts that continue to also negatively affect the economy. The efforts that are underway right now to address to that, we saw the ANC coming out after the Legodi to say that they are proposing as well that there should be a state of disaster declared around Eskom. Would this help in trying to address the challenges around energy that are negatively affecting the mining sector?
It will help. Mining in the last financial year has declined 9% year on year. And key factors to that is 1, load shedding, 2 is inefficient Transnet, particularly for bulk minerals that must go to the port. And the third one is crime in the industry, which includes illegal mining and many other activities that are illegal. So those 3 factors. And therefore, in our view, we must deal with the load shedding urgently. That's why, as a department, we made proposal of 4 key interventions that must be implemented immediately. 1 is to pay attention to the electricity availability factor, power station by power station. 2, we must have access to electricity that is sold by countries in the neighboring. We must be able to import that energy. 3, we must be aggressive with emergency procurement to the industry, and we must pay attention to the skills. And if we apply those 4 issues, it will add impetus to the declaration of a state of disaster.
All right, Minister, thank you very much for your time. That is, of course, the Mineral Resources and Energy Minister Gwede Mantashe, just giving us a breakdown of those numbers in terms of the release of that occupational safety and health report in the mining sector. But you heard him there saying that indeed the declaration of a state of disaster would help, to go a long way in addressing the challenges of energy within the sector. But the department hard at work to ensure that when they report or they release this report next year in terms of the numbers around 2023, there will be a 0 fatality recorded in the mining sector. That can only be achieved if all stakeholders, including the Mineral Council, the mines themselves, their CEOs, and of course all other stakeholders like unions, all put all hands on deck in ensuring that they attend to the occupational health and safety standards within the mining sector. Katlego, Legodi, SABC News, Pretoria.